Hey there, beautiful people. Alex from the 12 Ways here, and today we're diving into something that can literally transform your life overnight. Have you ever met someone who everyone in the room, like they have this magical ability to make people lean in, hang on their every word? That's not magic, that's not something they were born with, that's skill. And I'm about to hand you 12 powerful Jefferson Fisher's conversation techniques that can make you that magnetic person instantly. These aren't your typical make eye contact tips. These are game changers that the most charismatic people in the world use daily. Let's dive in before I get too excited. Before we jump into these life-changing techniques, let me ask you, have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely drained? Like you weren't really heard? Or maybe wondering why you can never think of the right thing to say? I've been there. For years, I struggled with social anxiety. Conversations felt like walking through a minefield. But after studying the most magnetic communicators across business, entertainment, and politics, I discovered specific techniques that transformed me from socially awkward to someone people actually wanted to talk to. These 12 techniques changed everything for me, and they'll do the same for you. The first technique is something that's called the spotlight technique. Most people approach conversations thinking, how do I sound smart, interesting, funny, wrong focus. Instead, magnetic people think, how can I make this person feel smart, interesting, and funny? Here's how to use the spotlight technique. 1. Ask open-ended questions that invite stories, not just facts. 2. When they share something, respond with genuine curiosity. 3. Use their name occasionally. It activates their brain in a powerful way. Person A, so what do you do for work? Person B, I'm a graphic designer. Person A, that's cool, versus Person A, so what do you do for work? Person B, I'm a graphic designer. Person A, that's fascinating, Sarah. What kind of projects light you up the most? I've always been curious about the creative process. See the difference? You're still learning about them, but you're doing it in a way that makes them feel valued. The second magnetic conversation technique is validate before advising. Here's a communication killer. Someone shares a problem and you immediately jump to solutions. You should why don't you try? That's easy. This shuts people down fast. Instead, magnetic communicators validate emotions first. That sounds really challenging. I can see why you'd feel that way. That would frustrate me too. Then, and only then, you can ask, would you like some thoughts on this before offering advice? This simple sequence makes people feel understood rather than lectured. Technique number 3 is what is called the conversational triangle. Most boring conversations ping-pong between what you say and what they say. But magnetic conversationalists add a third dimension, what you say, what they say, and what you both observe together. For example, have you noticed how the energy in this room changed when that song came on? Or isn't it interesting how we both chose blue today? And I love how passionate everyone gets when this topic comes up. This creates a shared experience that bonds you instantly. The fourth technique that makes you magnetically interesting is story stacking. Boring people tell random stories that go nowhere. Magnetic people stack their stories to build connection. Here's how. When someone shares a story, find a similar, not identical experience. Share your story briefly. Key point. End with a question that brings it back to them. For example, if they say, I just got back from Hawaii, it was incredible. You could respond, that's awesome. I went to Maui last year and was blown away by those sunsets. Which island did you visit and what was your favorite moment? Notice I didn't hijack the conversation. I showed we have common ground, then immediately returned the spotlight to them. The fifth technique is energy matching. Ever talk to someone whose energy was way off from yours? Like you're excited and they're super low energy? Or you're chill and they're bouncing off the walls? Magnetic communicators temporarily match the energy level of the person they're speaking with. This doesn't mean faking emotions. It means meeting them where they are before gradually shifting the energy where you want it to go. If they're speaking softly and slowly, don't come in hot. Start where they are, then gradually bring more energy if appropriate. This creates immediate rapport that people feel but can't quite explain. Alright, we're nearly halfway through and I hope you're already seeing how these techniques can transform your conversations immediately. These aren't just theories, these are battlefield-tested techniques that have helped thousands of people go from awkward to magnetic. If you're getting value from these first 5 techniques, imagine what the next 7 can do for your relationships, your career, and your confidence. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now, so you never miss out on communication secrets that can literally change your life overnight. And drop a comment letting me know which technique you're going to try first. Now let's dive into technique number 6, which might be my favorite one. The 6th technique is what I call the Curiosity Callback. This is powerful. Most people listen to respond. Magnetic people listen to remember and reference. Here's how it works. 1. When someone mentions something interesting, even in passing, make a mental note. 2. Later in the conversation, call back to it with genuine curiosity. For example, earlier you mentioned you grew up in Colorado. What was that like? Or, you said something before about changing careers. I'd love to hear that story if you're willing to share. This makes people feel not just heard but remembered, which is incredibly rare and powerful. Our 7th technique is vulnerable authenticity. Here's the truth. Perfect people are boring and unrelatable. Magnetic people share appropriately vulnerable stories that create instant connection. The key is appropriate vulnerability, not TMI that makes people uncomfortable, not fake weaknesses that are actually strengths. Real, relatable human experiences. For example, I was so nervous before giving that presentation that I practiced in front of my dog for an hour. Or I completely misunderstood the dress code and showed up in jeans when everyone was in formal wear. These moments of humanity make you instantly more trustworthy and likable. Technique number 8, micro-appreciations. Magnetic people don't wait for big moments to show appreciation. They notice and acknowledge small things. I really appreciate how carefully you considered everyone's perspective just now. The way you explained that made it so much clearer. Thank you. I noticed you made sure everyone got introduced. That was thoughtful. These tiny moments of recognition make people feel seen in a world where most feel invisible. And here's the key. Be specific. Your awesome is nice. I love how you always find the perfect gift for every situation is memorable. The 9th technique is question layering. Average communicators ask surface questions. What do you do? Where are you from? How long have you worked here? Magnetic communicators layer their questions to go deeper. Initial, what kind of work do you do? Layer 1. What aspects of that do you find most fulfilling? Layer 2. Has that always been important to you or did that develop over time? This creates depth without feeling intrusive because you're following their lead and only going as deep as they're comfortable with. Our 10th technique is the verbal nod. Physical nodding shows you're listening, but verbal nodding proves it. These are small affirmations that you weave throughout the conversation. I see what you mean. That makes a lot of sense. I can picture that exactly. These verbal nods do 2 powerful things. They show you're truly listening, and they encourage the person to continue sharing. The key is to use these naturally, not robotically, and to mean what you say. Technique 11 is purposeful pausing. Most people are uncomfortable with silence, so they rush to fill it. Magnetic communicators use strategic pauses to emphasize important points, give others space to think, and create anticipation. When you ask a thoughtful question, resist the urge to immediately rephrase it or answer it yourself. Ask, then pause. This simple technique makes your words more impactful and shows tremendous confidence. And trust me, the insights you get when you give people space to think are often the most valuable. Our final technique is the conversational bridge. Great conversationalists know how to smoothly transition between topics without awkwardness. They build bridges like, that reminds me of, speaking of which, that's similar to, this creates flow instead of the choppy. So anyway, that signals a complete topic change. Even more powerful is creating bridges between people. You should meet my friend Val. You both have that same passion for sustainable architecture. What you're saying reminds me of something Emma mentioned earlier. Emma, would you share that perspective? This technique makes you the connector, one of the most valuable people in any social network. There you have it. 12 powerful conversation techniques that can instantly transform you into a magnetic communicator. Remember, these aren't just tricks. They're based on fundamental human needs: to feel heard, to feel valued, to feel connected. The most important part? Start practicing today. Choose just one of these techniques and use it in your very next conversation. Then come back and comment below with your results. I respond personally to as many comments as I can. If this video helped you, please give it a like, share it with someone who could use these skills, and subscribe for more communication strategies that actually work. This is Alex, and remember, your next conversation could be the one that changes everything.